Oh my God, look at this thing. Now, some of you guys may be new to chassis building. Let me give you a quick 101. You want to make sure you get a level, and you want to make sure it is nowhere near the center section. Center means bad. You want it as far one way or the other. This one's pretty far that way, so that means this is perfect. That's why you need to use these levels, man. They're really important. What's up, this is Casey from Casey's Customs. I am converting a 69 Chevy long bed truck into a convertible Blazer. In this video, we finally get to pull it outside, see how the body looks. I could not be happier. And then we start cutting the hell out of our chassis. Let's go. We are back on our 1969 Chevy conversion build. Before I pull the old girl inside, we're gonna go ahead and get this bedside cut up and turn it into a quarter panel, just like we did the other one. That one is just on there temporarily right now. I just got it screwed in, which I'm gonna end up doing the same thing with this one. But we need to shorten this. I think it was 22 inches or something like that. And then we gotta take 8 inches out of the back. So yeah, let's start cutting some shit. Also, before I start cutting up my bedside here, I wanna answer a couple questions. I had over 100 comments of people saying I bought the wrong top. That is a 1973 to 1975 top and not a 69 to 72. People were freaking out. How could you buy the wrong one? I promise that's the right one. That is the one I wanted because we're gonna be doing a lot of modifications. I'm not 100% sure on what I'm doing yet, but I'm planning on doing a chopped windshield. I can modify that 73 a hell of a lot cheaper than I can a 69 to 72 top that are worth like 5 or 6 grand. So I promise there's a method to my madness, and if you have any doubts, just go through my videos. There is a million different videos where I have cut something in half and people go, you ruined it, and it ends up working out in the long run. But let's quit bitching and start cutting. I don't know if the time lapse is going to show it or not, but I have dropped this piece 6 times. I can't get it back up there, drop it. I had 5 C-clamps on it, still fell. Really need an extra pair of hands. My dad helped me with the other one the other day. I think I got it close enough now where I can tack it and then pull it and then tack it and pull it, but let's see what happens. Son of a bitch. Finally got the damn thing held together. Gotta trim this now. There we go. Ooh, it looks good. I'm gonna flip it around, weld the backside, and then I gotta get the C10 in here. I don't know if I can do that by myself, but we're gonna find out. So I'm trying to weld this seam on the inside of the bed and I can't get to it, so I just cut up one of my C-clamps. Let's see what happens. I think I might make it work. I might have just ruined this too. We're gonna find out together. Oh shit. I turned off my gas. Works perfect. Let's go! I know they make those. They make these with a shorter hand and then a longer one, but I just cut one up. It looks like it's gonna work. Damn, that lines up pretty good too. Got the bedside all welded. Looks great. I was gonna pull the C10 in, but I actually don't need to yet. I forgot that I need to pull the bed floor in and cut the rear brace off the back of it because that is what ties in both of the bedsides to the rear of it. And then you'll be able to actually still bolt in your tailgate and everything, and it should work properly. I don't think I'm gonna end up using that bed floor as the floor anymore because I'm gonna have a big kick up in the frame because we're going to get this thing to lay on the ground. But I'm not going to chuck it just yet. I'm just going to cut that rear floor brace out and then just keep it in my scrap pile in case I need it. But I don't see how I can use it if I have a giant, I mean, we're doing like a 10-inch C-notch in the rear, so I don't see how that's going to work out. But yeah, I said all that to say I got to pull that damn thing in, and it is not that light. So I actually forgot how heavy that floor is, so I'm going to cut it where it's at. It's 60 degrees outside today. I can't really get the camera over there very well, though, so I'm going to put it here and just point it over there. Just know I'm just cutting the floor out. Never mind, we're just going to put the tripod in the alley, and that way you can see what I'm cutting. Hopefully I don't catch these leaves on fire. That'd be very bad. Check it out. The beautiful people at Holley have hooked us up. We got ourselves brand new carburetor, brand new air cleaner, brand new valve covers, and a brand new intake. Now, these are supposed to go on this C10 Blazer, but I'll be honest with you, that shit would look pretty good on the Monte Carlo. I don't know. They probably look better on the 327, but boy, I don't know. I might have to steal these for the Monte Carlo, and I'll just tell the Holley guys, like, hey, they didn't show up. I don't know what happened. Hey, you're going to have to send me more. We'll put them on 327. I probably shouldn't be recording this. I just realized, damn, that was stupid. Anyways, back to work. The old man helped me. We got the truck in last night. I just dropped my camera. We got the truck in last night. What I want to do today is get this bed floor cut down so that I can take that section and tie it in to both of our quarter panels. Now, what I'm going to do whenever I get this cut up is I'm actually going to start working backwards, if that makes any sense. I'm going to take this quarter panel off because I need to get the back of the cab all cut up, and I think it'll be a lot easier if this is just taken off. So I'm going to probably take everything apart, cut the living hell out of this, and then we'll start fitting our bed together with the correct width piece that needs to go in there, and I'll also probably start fitting the tailgate as well. But I'm getting ahead of myself as usual. We got to cut that. We got to take that off. We got to cut that. We got to put that back on. We got to put that back on. We got to put that back on, and then the tailgate. All right, let's get to work. Let's cut some shit. All right, I got the back of the cab cut off. I think I'm gonna go ahead and trim this little bullshit. That doesn't need to be there anymore for the Blazer top. I don't love it. The only thing I don't like about these Blazers is this body line basically just dies right here. So it'll be up to there on the door, and then this comes way down here to meet up with the bedside. And I've seen guys cut their doors way down to this body line, and I don't love that either, because then it just looks like you have a short door. So I don't know, I'm sitting here looking at it going, is there any way I could technically raise the bed up to that body line, but then it's just, everything's gonna be too high. We're going for low. So I don't know, I'm gonna start with trimming it the way it's supposed to be trimmed. But we're going to put a pin on that. I don't know how we're going to fix that problem. The reason they have the big drop down is because that's where your top sits. But, we're doing custom shit, so we can kind of make stuff work. But yeah, I don't know. For now, let's go ahead and get it cut, and we will come up with something later. I said earlier I was going to start fitting the quarter panels in the bed. I might not do that now. I might start messing with our frame because we have we're going to be doing a ton of framework on this. I'm going to do a big C-notch, and I got to cut all this down, and that would be a lot easier to do without the bed involved. So I don't know, I might start doing chassis work. Either way, let's cut that down first, and then we'll figure it out. I got this trimmed. Just realized I didn't turn the time lapse on because I'm a dumb person. That's okay though, wasn't that big of a deal. Just trimmed it. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this back piece. This is actually spot welded to that floor. The way the guys do the Blazers perfectly. You know, the guys who like build the blazers as a, like a resto mod essentially, they actually cut this all the way back into here because the blazer floor should kind of work a little bit different than this. I'm not doing any of that. We're just going to tie straight into that. It already has mounts. It's super solid. It's a really big brace across there and I want to use it. I am going to take this back piece off though because we don't need that. So I'm going to just air chisel it off. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Then I decided what I'm going to do with the bed. Also, I've called it a bed or a quarter panel 5 different times this video. So it might be a bed, it might be a quarter panel. Either way, we're doing that. I'm going to go ahead and get that mounted. I'm just going to mount it in with my screws again though, so we can pull it outside, kind of see how it looks. And then I can pull it back inside, take it all off, and then we will start with our chassis work. I already started cutting some bars and shit for it. I'm going to weld that in there so that my frame doesn't want to move in because we need to take this brace out and we're going to end up actually cutting the chassis right there. I'm not going to make the final cuts until I get my kick up. I think I'm supposed to get it next week sometime, but I do want to go ahead and start getting my braces welding in and start kind of getting ready for that to show up. But for now, let's go ahead and get the bed kind of put up there so we can see how it's going to look. I did my last video, I had one side on and I kind of got an idea, but it wasn't great. And I really like to see both sides on. So I'm going to put that one back on now. Then we're going to start fitting that rear brace and then we'll start fitting our other side. Let's do it. All right, let's throw this damn bedside back up here. So here is what I was talking about earlier with the notch. This is actually supposed to be cut down to this bedside, and then the bedside runs straight into the door. So you have like this weird, I don't know, we're probably gonna end up doing something with that because I don't love that. But good news is, got the bedside put back on. That's a great thing about using like self-tappers on shit like this. I can take it off and put it on 5 different times, and I know exactly where it was to begin with. And with it not being welded, anything can be adjusted. So if this wheel isn't centered, even though it is, if this wheel isn't centered, I could trim, you know, an inch off or add an inch, whatever I need to do. But yeah, I'm gonna get this bed floor prepped, get it in there. I'm gonna have to cut my bars loose, obviously. And yeah, we'll start placing this shit back together. I don't know how well it's gonna go back in there because we kind of ripped some shit when we took it out, but let's figure it out. All right, whew, this is a royal pain in the ass doing it by yourself. But let me see if I can't get this thing mounted. Bed floor sitting, I think, where it needs to be. Just gotta sit this one here too. Oh, you're too low, buddy. Okay. It looks centered, but I can't tell exactly. Actually, we might not be centered right. Oh no, I'm good. I just need to trim the front. Okay, we gotta do this quick. I got about 5 more minutes of work, and I gotta go! Check it out. Finally got the passenger side on there. Had to go run and pick up my kid. Almost was late picking him up because I'm too stubborn and I didn't want to leave until I got that on there. It is on there. Now it is time to square up the rear brace to this quarter panel. As you can tell, everything is wonky. That side's lower than that side. We got issues, but some of that is because our cab mounts aren't on right. So I'm not worried about how it looks. I'm worried about how my body lines are and how everything is level for now. Because we're gonna be doing a bunch of chassis work later on anyways, but I want the bed to be level. And whenever I get this squared away where it needs to be, I think what I'm gonna end up doing is putting like some square tubing across here to hold it, basically turn it back into a bed. Camera just died on me, we're charged back up. I'm gonna get this lower brace squared up, and then we're gonna go ahead and make sure the bed is square, and I'm gonna get some tack welds on there so everything looks where it needs to look for now. I'm gonna call it a night. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so I forgot that my tailgate mounts were rusted all to shit, and I was gonna order new ones because they're only like 10 bucks. And I can't even find the original rusty ones, so went ahead and just tack welded the tailgate on for now. I actually don't hate when people shave them. They look kind of cool. This would be the perfect thing to shave it on since it's gonna be a convertible, but I'll still probably end up getting it working again. But for now, having it tacked is perfect because I have my gap exactly where it needs to be. What I'm gonna do now, everything looks pretty good. I have nothing welded to the frame right now. The only thing holding it is just those clamps and then this brace. That brace is really, really good. This rust shit looks real bad. That's actually just on the top panel. I don't know what the hell you call it, the top of the bed. But the brace is super solid and it actually looks okay. I'm gonna end up reinforcing all this later, but for now I'm very happy with how it looks. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a piece of square tubing across the front, already grinding the paint off. I'm gonna just weld it right there, and then what I can do is unscrew the front of this and this whole thing can come off. It'll just be like a little mini box. It'll work perfect. But once I get that on there, we'll roll it outside, kind of check our proportions, look how everything is. And then whenever it's time to do this chassis work, we just take this whole bed off for now and mess with something else, which is great because I was planning on making all my mounts on this, but that does not make getting in there as easy or as fun. So, all right, let's weld some shit. We're going to call it a day. Sweet! It looks like a truck. It looks like a little bitty truck. Like a little Blazer type guy. Check it out. It's a little crooked. This side needs to come over. But dang, I kind of like it. We're going to do some research on how we're going to fix this because I don't know about this whole thing. I mean, maybe you just add 2 inches to the top of your bed. I don't know. We're gonna do something. I hate this, but she's sitting pretty. All right, I'm calling it a night.
The next day.
So I had me one of them there headaches with pictures last night. Also called an idea, and I decided I'm gonna brace this up a lot more than I originally was going to. Technically, I don't wanna obviously weld anything to the chassis because this whole bed needs to come off, but technically I can brace this bed up pretty solid, basically turn it back into a truck bed, if that makes any sense at all, so that when I take it off, it will just sit back on the frame where it needs to go. So I'm not gonna make anything pretty, and it's obviously gonna end up getting redone, but I want it to be, for taking on and off, I want it to be nice. So I'm gonna spend about 20 minutes, brace the living shit out of this. Then we're gonna pull it outside, get a look at it, and then take the bed back off. But let's get to work. Oh my God, look at this thing. Dude, this might be one of the coolest builds I've ever done. I fucking love this thing. I hate this though. I'm gonna send a picture of this. I think I've referenced it like 5 times at this point. I'm gonna have Richard put a picture right here. See, here's what it's supposed to look like. And I don't love that little dip they have. We're gonna do some custom shit on it, but that's a pretty cool looking truck, man. Obviously needs to come down a bunch. We're getting ready to start cutting up the chassis. Cool, man. I'm really liking this one. This thing, I know I said it, I think in another video, but this was literally just a running and driving long bed truck that I paid $1,000 for. We could have just kind of, you know, threw some wheels on it and lowered it, and I probably would have made $6 or $7 on it. And then a month later, it looks like this. I'll be honest with you though, the windshield's a lit's tall. Windshield's just a little, you know, just a little tall. Chopping that down would be interesting, but it's doable. Cool, man. All right, I'm gonna get the bed off, pull this back in here. We're gonna start cutting the frame up a little bit. And I don't know how far I'm gonna get on that because I gotta get this video to Richard before he starts crying. But let's get the bed off. Check it out. Couldn't have happened at a better time. I got the bed popped off. The neighbor had to help me. It was a little bit heavier than I thought it was going to be. I just got the C-notch kit for the rear, which is great because I was going to start doing chassis work now. The goal for this build is to get this thing laying on the ground or as close as possible. If it's only 1 or 2 inches off, I'm okay with that. But the goal is to lay that rocker on the ground. And the best way to do that is to modify your chassis. And then you get the chassis as low as you can. If you can't get your chassis low enough, then you do a body drop. What you don't want to do is try and do all of your lowering through your body drop. You've seen it a lot in like 80s lowriders, 80s hot rods, just low cars from the 80s. Guys would cut the floor out, and a body drop is essentially raising your floor. And I mean, I used to see it at car shows all the time when I was a kid. The floor would be up here. Like you'd go and open a low car, it looks so cool, and then you realize like the floor's up here and the people are sitting on boat seats because they can't have a regular seat in there, you know, your head's at the, you know, the top of the roof. So body drops are awesome. You just don't want to do a ton of body drops. So I'm going to start cutting up this chassis. I don't know how much time I'm going to have. I'm going to to do as much as I can before my parts get here. I'm waiting on other stuff. I have a 3-inch drop spindle kit coming for the front. So the goal, I don't know if this is going to work out, but the goal is big C-notch in the rear, a little bit of a C-notch in the front, and the drop spindle should get us down as far enough as we can. And then if we need to get another 3 or 4 inches, we'll do a body drop. But yeah, I said all that to say I'm gonna start cutting the shit out of this chassis, and we'll see how far we can get today before we have to call it a video. Let's cut some shit. Also, check out this kit. Whenever you buy these kits on eBay, you can get them in different thicknesses. You can get them in different heights as well. This one I think was an 8-inch C-notch. It might have been a 10-inch. I don't remember. But you can get them in 2, 4, all the way up to like a 20-inch, and you can get the metal in different thicknesses. They come in 1/8 inch, 3/16, or 1/4 inch. I went with 1/4 inch plate with this. It's gonna be super heavy duty. It's gonna be boxed in. Very, very happy with it. But what I'm gonna do now, get the frame on jack stands and start cutting. We're gonna have to probably get rid of this. Definitely gonna have to get rid of this cross member because our rear end is going to get a hit in there. So yeah, I should probably stop thinking out loud while I'm recording and just start figuring out. Yeah, let's cut some shit. So the other day, I think I explained why I welded that piece of square tubing in there, but if I didn't, I'll say it again. I put that one in there because I didn't want my frame to move at all when we start cutting it, because you're gonna have to do a bunch of cutting for our C-notch, and that would hold it together. I started cutting this cross member, and I started feeling a bind on my Sawzall blade, so I knew it was trying to flex in, so I threw another bar in, and check this out. That is just as thick as the cutoff wheel was. So that definitely proves to me nothing is moving, which is awesome. I was originally thinking this whole cross member would have to come out, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I might just be able to run a hoop here instead of having to make a whole new cross member. Because I really don't have anything up there. This one's just temporary for now. So I think I'll end up keeping this and adding a hoop to it. So I just cut the middle out of it now so that my rear end can slide. But what we need to do now is figure out where that C-notch is going to do and give it the old this brace back here will keep anything from moving, and so will that one back there. So we're good on bracing now. It's just time to, well, it's time to stop talking and cut some shit. So let's see what happens. All right, let's cut it. Wow, everything stayed perfect too. Let's cut the other side. Let's see how far this rear end will go. We're gonna call that a video, baby. All right, check it out. I got the passenger side C-notch kind of started. The way I like to do these, which is basically the smart way, I didn't invent it by any means, but you start welding it together. That way you can kind of see how everything is gonna work. Then, once this thing is fully welded, we got all of our plates in, it's completely boxed. Then you just cut out the center, it's no big deal. And then you can actually add another plate in here that will box that all in even more. It kind of takes the guesswork out of it. You can literally see exactly where it's going to go. The only reason I'm going to leave this one open and not just weld it solid is I want to make sure that my rear end is cycling properly, because this one's going to have so much travel in it. Sometimes, you know, the higher up they go, they actually go forward some. They don't just go straight up and down. I'm going to basically do this on both sides, get it welded where I know it's not going to go anywhere, and then cut them out, and then we'll go ahead and start doing some cycle tests. And once I know that it's okay, we'll cut it the rest of the way. But I'm going to go ahead, make this box, whatever you want to call it, on the other side, and then we'll probably cut some shit. But first, we got to weld some shit. Also, I freaking love it. And then what we'll do, whenever this is done and completely out, I'll have another cross member go across this. This is the same thing I did on the 51 Chevy. It really makes everything super, super strong. So technically, I probably won't even need that brace in front whenever I have these two braced in. But that has my shock mount, so I kind of want to keep it. I don't know. We might end up changing it. But yeah, let's get the other one in. Okay, check it out. This is absolutely perfect. I'm so happy. Oh my God. Look at where the axle is in relation to the body. It's to the middle of the door body line. Holy shit. Oh, this is awesome. This is most likely on the ground, but here's what's cool. I have 3-inch blocks, solid aluminum blocks, that will push this rear end up 3 inches more. So it'll actually be way up in here. Now, if this was a Suburban where I was trying to have a back seat, I would do less of a C-notch, and I would probably I wouldn't try and get it as low, because you could actually have a back seat. I don't give a shit about this one. We're not going to have a back seat in it. It's basically going to be a truck bed, but that is awesome. The fact that we're going 3 inches more from here is just a ridiculous amount of overkill. You can also adjust the 4-link trailing arms, whatever the hell you call them. You can actually switch those out for lower ones too if you wanted to get even lower, but I can't imagine we would need to do that. Also, it's currently hitting my spring cups. I won't need those anymore. We're going to cut those out, and we're going to have our bag, somewhere. Our bag is essentially the same width as that. That's why I left it in, because a bag is like 3 inches, and that right now is 3.5, so it'll actually be a little bit lower than it currently is. That looks as ridiculous as I wanted it to. Oh, shit. I am so happy with how far we came in this video. We pulled it outside to see how it looked. It looks amazing, and I got a lot farther on the frame than I thought I was going to. Originally, I think I said in the video, I said, I just want to get the frame prepped, for the C-notches. They actually showed up, and here we go. They are tacked in, ready to go. We've done the major cutting. We just got to do some welding now. Very, very exciting. If you like this build, stay tuned. This is my new weekly build series here on YouTube. If you are not already subscribed, please hit that button now. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, comment, all the good stuff I tell you in the end videos, and check out some more of my other videos. Peace. Love ya.